we are going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. Past administration starved and almost made extinct a lot of these companies and pushed it offshore. So what we want to do is apply the highest U.S. regulatory and AML standards to digital assets, especially stable coins. And I've seen estimates that just over the short term, stable coins could create $2 trillion of demand for U.S. Treasuries and Treasury bills. To put that in context, the number is probably about $300 billion right now.
Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Imagine waking up tomorrow to find your crypto wallet drained because of sneaky phishing scams delivered right to your mailbox. Or picture this: governments printing unlimited money to scoop up Bitcoin, skyrocketing its value while you're still on the sidelines. The crypto world is moving faster than ever. Right now, it's a wild mix of opportunity and danger. And in today's video, we're diving into the biggest crypto headlines shaking the market. Ripple's game-changing infrastructure, a scary ledger phishing scam hitting mailboxes, the United States Treasury Secretary bold Bitcoin plans, and Binance's founder dropping a bombshell about nations chasing crypto. These stories could change how you invest, so you need to know what's happening before it's too late. And stick around with us, because in this video, we are giving away our free ebook packed with altcoin secrets that could help you spot the next big winner. Plus, we will be jumping over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the financial markets today. We'll dive deeper into this ledger phishing letter that's coming in the mail. And we'll check in on XRP and Bitcoin in the charts at the end of this video. If you're just here for the charts, go ahead and fast forward till the end. And much more for you coming in today's video. But first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and check out the overall health of the crypto market. Today, we are trading at $3.39 trillion total market cap. It is down 0.18%. The last 2 days have not been spectacular since hitting the new all-time high with Bitcoin. After crypto stalled on its way to that $3.6 trillion market cap, we've had a slight pullback. Will we be coming back to retest this $3.2 trillion level from May 8th? When we dive into the charts later on, we'll have a clearer picture on where that's going. Fear and greed index coming in at 67. We are still in greed territory, so we're looking good. If we break down a little farther, we'll be back in neutral where there's uncertainty. We don't want to get into this extreme 85-90 area where we start to really see the end of the bull run. Altcoin season is still Bitcoin season full on. It's 24 out of 100. Bitcoin dominance maintaining that 63% level. And finishing off last week, Friday's numbers coming in for inflows into ETFs, $211 million. So on the last 30 days of ETF inflows, we can see as money starts flowing in, price goes up significantly. And this was actually an early indicator for us when price was really struggling back in April. We started seeing these massive inflows coming into the ETFs. And sure enough, it was a great indicator of what's happening. This is on the 30 days. As you can see, when we zoom out to the yearly, it's a better, easier indication of what was going on. So obviously outflow massively for ETFs. And then it started messing around a little bit here, a break even, and then boom, the massive week, $3 billion worth of inflows. That's when we really started to see the increase in price for Bitcoin. And as we said last Friday, 211 million flowed in, but last week's total, $2.7 billion worth of inflows. That is the fourth largest ever for inflows into the ETFs. And we cover this because Bitcoin is obviously the leader of the market. We want to see where volume is flowing into. Bitcoin is still continuously flowing in volumes. We'll watch next week to see how this continues to play out. Top 5 cryptos based on total market cap. Bitcoin number 1 at $107,000. Ethereum number 2 at $2,500. Tether stablecoin $1. XRP at number 4, $2.31. BNB at number 5, $665. Solana chasing it down 89 to 93 as far as their total market cap goes. How soon will Solana take over that BNB slot at number 5? It is currently at number 6, $172.52. Heading over to X to find out the breaking news. If you are not following along, which most of you probably are, but there is a trader out there named James Wynn who is going absolutely nuts. A $1.2 billion 40x leverage long trade on Bitcoin on Hyperliquid. Well, he just posted a cryptic message just an hour ago. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them. You know when to walk away and know when to run. You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. There'll be a time enough for counting when the dealing's done. So here is his position, and this was 14 hours ago. His position, $1.266 billion. His liquidation price, though, was $105,000. So he started to get scared. And as you see from the post, he's seeming to indicate that he has now officially closed this trade. He was up $4 million. Unfortunately, I don't think he ended in a plus territory on this trade. And he goes on to say also before the other post, it says, it's this that has spooked me. GG's if I'm wrong. So indicating that he's still open there. But as we can see here, Bitcoin just flashed a golden cross, historically a major bull signal, past moves, 139% in 2016, 2,200% in 2017, 1,190% in 2020, except for a 10 to 15% dip before blast off. So that reload zone would be 98,000 and 101,000. And ladies and gentlemen watching this video, let me know in the comment section, what was his liquidation price? Yes, that's correct, $105,000. So if we do have this normal pullback that happens after this golden cross, he would be liquidated for $1.2 billion.
Bitcoin's golden cross just flashed. History says, dip first, moon later. If that happens, here's the play. Past golden crosses, starting in these years, Bitcoin went up 139% in 2016, 2,200% in 2017, and 1,190% in 2020. Monster moves are the rule. Typical shakeout after the golden cross is common to see a 10 to 15% flush. So this time we're looking anywhere between $98,000 to $101,000 for the reload zone before absolute liftoff. Remember, US spot ETFs are now vacuuming up almost 10 times the daily miner supply of Bitcoin, making these dips short-lived. When Bitcoin sells off 10%, altcoins historically bleed 30 to 40%. This is flash sale territory. Remember the alts you wished you grabbed last month? The pullback is the redo button and likely your last chance before the banana zone. So here's what you want to do if this scenario plays out. Ladder bids for your altcoins if Bitcoin reaches between $102,000 to $98,000. Let the panic sellers fund your stack. Place bids more aggressively the lower Bitcoin goes. Remember this golden rule. Golden crosses have never printed inside of a true bear market. Momentum, it's up. Golden crosses birth bull runs. Pullbacks are tickets, not traps. Grab the dip or chase green candles later. Deep dive in the link below.
So very interesting take there. And then also his most recent post from James Wynn, the actual trader holding this big, huge trade, says back to memeing and having fun. So interesting to watch this. This guy is absolutely nuts, gambling with that much money. We'll continue to follow it for you as well. And it's really interesting, this one here. And this is one of the things we talked about in the intro. Binance founder CZ says nations will print unlimited money to buy Bitcoin. And I recently had a conversation about this with a friend of mine. And this actually scares me because as we know right now, the United States prints unlimited money, United States dollars, fiat dollars, and so on, not actually printing money, just adding more digits to the computer that says that we have more money. Well, the problem is if the United States were to do that, if the UAE were to do that, if Russia, China, and all these other countries were to just start printing tons and tons of money to buy Bitcoin, and they buy it, and then all of a sudden the price continues to run up, Bitcoin gets this hyperinflated price, but it's actually devaluing all of it because all of the fiat money purchasing the Bitcoin was hyperinflated, meaning that the price of Bitcoin is also hyperinflated, which would be artificial. And then it would have this extreme dump to the downside, like an extreme explosion to the downside. Grok here on the X platform, if this is a good idea, it says here on the surface, this seems like a bullish scenario for Bitcoin. If nations start buying Bitcoin in mass, demand would definitely surge, likely driving up the price, especially given Bitcoin's limited supply of only 21 million coins, as highlighted in the Forbes article. This aligns with the on-chain data that was mentioned, where Bitcoin is trading at 103,000 as of May 19th with the potential of reaching 120. If it holds these key supports, Institutional accumulation, as discussed in the OneSafe blog post, already reduces liquid supply on exchanges, pushing prices higher. Nations joining this trend could amplify that effect. This could be a strategic move to secure a stake in what some see as the future of money, a fixed supply, mathematically secured asset like Bitcoin, and ostracized nations might adopt early to gain an early bird advantage, while major powers might do so to retain influence as Bitcoin adoption grows. So this is interesting because a lot of the other countries out there outside of the massive countries like China and Russia, United States, and all of these other countries in the UAE that are able to produce lots of money, maybe that is why it is taking so long. They're telling all these smaller countries to quietly buy up all of these reserves of Bitcoin, and then they all announce it because everyone talks about flip the switch, as they say, you know? So in conclusion, does it undermine the idea of sound money, which is what Bitcoin was designed to be? And it says in the short term, yes, the idea of nations printing money to buy Bitcoin could undermine the spirit of sound money. It allows fiat hegemons to leverage their printing power to dominate a system meant to escape their control altogether, potentially leading to centralization of ownership. Also, market distortion and a delay in Bitcoin's role as a true fiat alternative. This could perpetuate the inequities of the fiat system and make Bitcoin less accessible to individuals, which goes against the ethos of sound money as a tool for individual freedom. So in other words, if you do want to front run this, you need to get in now. You should have got in a long time ago, because what it says here as well is, however, in the long run, Bitcoin's design as sound money is likely to hold firm. Its fixed supply, decentralization, and market-driven value mean it can't be fully co-opted by nations, even if they accumulate large amounts. Moreover, their actions might accelerate the decline of fiat currencies, reinforcing Bitcoin's position as the sound money alternative. Now, the key risk is whether Bitcoin can transition from a speculative asset to a stable medium of exchange amidst the volatility that nation state buying could introduce. Now, my ultimate problem with this, and what I mean, what I was asking was, you, me, and every other normal retail trader person out there that's not a government, okay? If governments start printing fake money to buy up Bitcoin, then we can't, as normal people, afford Bitcoin. Are these governments that are printing infinite amounts of money to gain access to infinite amounts of Bitcoin as far as pricing goes, not necessarily the amount of actually accumulation of coins, are they going to give us coins? Are they going to give us some sort of stimulus? Hey, everyone, here's $100,000 in Bitcoin or whatever that does, because of the fact that if they're hyperinflating fiat currency to buy Bitcoin and they hyperinflate the price of Bitcoin from what it is now, 108, 109,000, all of a sudden it is $1 million a coin, and you didn't get access to get any of it because we weren't told that we were supposed to get in there. Like, obviously right now it's speculative, but if governments really start to say we're going to be using this as the ultimate money in the world, they should prepare us and tell us, or give us, right? They've done stimulus before. Are they going to give us a crypto wallet and then you can exchange that money? They're going to give you whatever the hyper inflated value becomes. That's where I'm having a real problem on this debate, as far as the reasons countries should not be printing money to just buy Bitcoin. So let me know your thoughts down below. Also, HSBC debuts Hong Kong's first blockchain settlement service with tokenized deposits. And this service is built on Chainlink's infrastructure, which has been integral in Hong Kong's DLT projects, including stablecoin development. HSBC's earlier tokenized on FFC authorized HSBC Gold token, highlighting Chainlink's role in connecting traditional finance with blockchain ecosystems. So congratulations, Chainlink. Huge shout out to you guys. And in an interesting twist, Polygon co-founder Mihailo Belichick steps down, becoming the third co-founder to leave since 2023. There is some skepticism about this going on X, with users saying it's suggested as an exit strategy by the founders, criticizing Polygon for lacking innovation amidst a crowded field of Ethereum-based Layer 1 and Layer 2 solutions. All right, before we jump over in the charts, I need you guys to know this. This is happening to people. This might be related to the Coinbase issue, but industry executives are sounding the alarm on a Ledger phishing letter that is delivered to your house by the United States Postal Service. Now, here is an example of the letter that this person got in the mail from Ledger, hypothetically, right? They're using this very sophisticated scam letter in the mail to you. Scammers posing as Ledger, a hardware wallet manufacturer, are sending physical letters to crypto users instructing them to validate their wallets or risk losing access to funds in the latest phishing attack to impact the industry. Now, this one, so you're aware, is potentially the biggest, scariest one, because we are very aware of this potentially happening on Coinbase, on Kraken, on all these other exchanges. Very, very possible that something like this could happen. Maybe not even a letter in the mail, but hot wallets, we know that there's some risk there. This is the cold wallet, the super secret wallet that no one even knows that you have, that's stashed at your grandma's house, in the attic, that you and only your grandma know where it's hidden, stuff like that, right? These are your Ledger hardware wallets. That is where people keep their largest sum of secretive crypto, or not secretive, but stored crypto away from public, not on actual public blockchains. It's private. You hide that away. But for some reason, they know who has access to these ledgers. And this phishing attempt highlights the ever-evolving complexity and tactics of social engineering scams designed to steal your crypto, private keys, user funds, and other sensitive data. And by the way, we're always updating our crypto community in our private group, Altcoin Pro University. You can get a link to that down below. We even have a full-on in our classroom here. We have ironclad crypto strategy for security purposes. And right here, avoiding cryptocurrency scams. We have an entire section on this. So as you can see right here, for example, in that video, how to avoid scams, phishing and social engineering scams, investment, Ponzi schemes to avoid, fake products, services, malware, malicious. We cover it all for you guys. We know crypto can be a scary, but also fun and exciting place. So we just make it less scary by providing classes and the foundations of crypto. What is crypto? How to be careful out there. So if you're looking for a community, you want to come hang out with us, we have over 956 people. Everyone's always chatting in here. If we go into our general discussion section, and check this out. This is great. $1.2 billion Bitcoin long close. The information we were just talking about that I didn't have for sure confirmation. Thank you to David in our group here in our general discussion section, giving us the link to actually click and lead us to that information. And in fact, one of my favorite parts about our community is that when you click on a link, we've already vetted it. We know that it's the right link. That's the one thing that scares me the most about crypto, even though I've been in it from 2015. You just cannot click links, right? So the cool thing is we've got everything vetted in here. We also give out a bunch of information on market updates, altcoin picks, DeFi yield picks, airdrops. If you've ever wanted to learn how to do airdrops, we just came out with one new airdrop alert for Wallet Connect 22 hours ago. The chain is Solana. The token is Wallet Connect. Eligibility: if you're using Backpack, Phantom, Juke Mobile, or Soulflare, you have just qualified for WCT rewards. This airdrop is designed to reward active users of these top Solana wallets, making it a great incentive for both new and existing wallets. More details about the reward structure and claim process will be released soon. Stay tuned for updates. So that means Wallet Connect is already starting to give out points for those people that are using it, and we were ahead of the game. So if you're looking to learn how to get airdrops and DeFi yield picks and altcoin picks that are really taking it to the next level, subscribe down below. So if you get this letter in the mail for Ledger, do not use it. Do not follow the directions. Throw it away. All right, next up, we have Ripple builds tokenized asset infrastructure for future generations, according to the World Economic Forum. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there are conspiracy theorists and you don't like the World Economic Theorem. And this is also why it's really mind-blowing to me sometimes. Like, I'm a huge fan of XRP, but what if it is the New World Order token? Am I supposed to be pushing these details? I don't know. But anyway, a recent report from the World Economic Forum, the next generation of value exchange, identifies key trends and players shaping future digital finance, spotlighting Ripple XRP Ledger, XRPL, as instrumental in tokenizing private equity assets. Among the notable developments, the report cites the $1 billion tokenized PE and debt fund launched by Arum Equity Partners on XRP Ledger. This pioneering move demonstrates XRPL's utility and scalability. Decentralized layer 1 blockchain providing enhanced liquidity and fractional ownership options through secondary markets. The WF also acknowledges Ripple's acquisition of Medico, a key digital asset custody provider, as part of a broader trend where digital native service providers like BitGo and Medico are positioned to offer specialized custodial and compliance solutions. These services will be vital in the future as private equity is projected to grow to $7 trillion by 2030, with 10% expected to be tokenized. The report emphasizes that tokenization could address long-standing inefficiencies in private equity, such as lack of transparency and high barriers to entry. Through blockchain platforms like XRPL, investment minimums have already dropped from $100,000 to as low as $10,000. This is amazing, by the way, enabling broader investor participation. All right, so jumping over to the charts, obviously a lackluster couple of days. Trump did ruin it for us a couple of days ago when he announced 50% tariffs on the EU and 25% tariffs on Apple because they build their phones in India instead of the United States. And that was a horrible crap show, right? That was May 23rd and the end of the day there. So that was a huge drop. But the good news is yesterday's candle was a very lackluster candle as well. Let's take a look here. What was our size here? Up to the upside, 2% move. Today's a 2% move to the downside already. But that is okay because in reality, we don't need the markets to move heavily on the weekends. We don't like the markets to move. And if you're not aware of why this is, that is because of the CME futures. If the markets move huge on the weekends, eventually, whether it's the next opening day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or 2 or 3 weeks, or even a month from now, it creates a gap that must be filled. Now, you hear me talk all the time about fair value gaps that need to be filled, and these will also be filled over time.
Most people that are interested in crypto trading don't have the time to manage their entries and stop losses, so they invest with emotion, and that's why they lose. So we have a powerful way for you to make money by directly copying our trades and other successful crypto traders. And copy trading is one of the easiest and most popular ways to make money in crypto. Copying other traders that had more experience than me is how I became a crypto millionaire before 30 when I was new to the industry back in 2016, but I had to manually enter the trades myself, which was super stressful because I didn't understand how to properly set up stop losses or take profits back then. So I ended up missing great entry points or holding longer than I should have, losing out on potential profits. That's why leveraging a copy trading platform that does this for you is the best way to go. And how it works is the exchange will put in the orders for you when you copy another experienced trader. That way you don't have to manually follow the trade alerts or enter or exit trade positions sitting at a computer all day long. And it's very easy to get started with too. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below this video and create your free account, deposit any crypto asset that is listed on the platform, and then choose which trader you like to copy that has the best win rate. And full disclaimer, because we believe in transparency, we do earn a small commission for every trade that you make on the exchange, but that helps support videos like this to help you succeed. And you can also get exclusive access to our top altcoin picks and breaking crypto news updates as well inside of our Telegram group through the link below this video. So check that out. I know you're going to love it.
But these are not as immediately needing to be filled as a CME group. So we don't need big moves on the weekends. We need Monday to open with all this great news and Trump to announce something amazing, and then we pump 10% to the upside. That's what we really need. We also need, since Bitcoin has most likely hit a temporary high here at $112,000, we can see that we are starting to sell off a little bit, holding strong still above the 10 exponential moving average if we lose that on a closed bodied candle. So as you can see, since the move to the upside, we've had some drops below, but mainly wicks, right? Bodies closing above the 10 exponential average. Same here, all the way up. But if we lose that, then there's potential of us dropping back to 30 exponential moving average. So we'll keep a very close eye on that, okay? So is it potential that Bitcoin hitting its new all-time high? We had a new weekly candle close last week at its new highest weekly candle close ever. This week will also be that. We have 24 hours until that officially closes, though. But even on the weeklies, we can see there's some pretty significant fair value gaps to the downside that could be filled. And as we saw in the beginning with the videos, that a lot of these golden cross whether it's to the upside or the death cross to the downside, has an opposite reaction for a small pullback than the explosion to the upside. So coins are potentially going to start to pull back. Now, in that video, he mentioned a Bitcoin 10% drop to the downside, and that would equivalent to a 30 to 40% drop in altcoins. However, what if the rotation finally starts to happen? We have not had a rotation where people take profits into Bitcoin and move it into altcoins such as Ethereum and so on. So what I'm looking for right now on XRP, first and foremost, we need to have a bodied weekly candle close above the previous bodied weekly candle. Okay, so right here, we're going to color this one in yellow, and we'll make it fatter as well, because this is an extremely important level. This is a previous lower high that has not been broken. We need to break that on a closed candle to the upside, creating a new market structure for us, bullish market structure, change of character, if you will. Then from there, we can break up to this level here, which we have not been able to break. And that's that $2.53 level on these weekly candles. Now, when we look at the daily candle, we can see we got a little poke above, a little tease to the upside. Unfortunately, we did end up losing that. And you can see how important this weekly candle level is, because we broke above it tiny, immediately broke back below it, and all of our daily candles also having a struggle breaking back above that level. But we are on our short-term momentum reset to zero. We're ready for an explosion. Last time we were reset to zero on our weekly candles, as we can see here, we had a very nice explosion to the upside, going from these $2.12 levels all the way up into the $2.62 level. So we're looking at a 50% or 50-cent move here. And our long-term indicator was in the bullish territory. However, if we do lose our 50 exponential moving average here, so as we talked about with Bitcoin on the daily, we don't want to lose that 10 exponential moving average, because you can see what happens when you lose it and you start to stay behind it and it doesn't really want to go above it, you get these bigger drops. And now we're just barely holding on to the 50 exponential moving average. But down below, we do have a support level here, $2.25. That was our most recent resistance levels. Multiple times could not break it, as we see here. Finally, the explosion to the upside. But right now, that could be our support. We have not retested that level since the breakout that did occur on May 8th. So what I'm looking for right now, we have a support at 225. We have today and tomorrow, I just want consolidation sideways. And then Monday, we need to have an opening. Monday's a holiday, though. So really Tuesday, we need to see the market start to rip to the upside positively for XRP, and our short-term momentum wave, the shaft trend cycle, start to make a turn to the upside as well. We can see last time Bitcoin had a full reset to zero and made its move to the upside. That's when Bitcoin went from 94,000 up to 104,000. And like we said, last time XRP did this, that is when it went from $1.12 to $1.62. So we know that that's what we're waiting for. We need to see this turn up to the bullish level. On the 12-hour, we can see it tried to make it up. Unfortunately, because momentum is failing, it starts to drop. And in fact, if we look here, our long-term bullish momentum wave has now dipped officially under the zero line. We need an immediate recovery to the upside for altcoins, for XRP. Otherwise, we could be going into 12-hour potential bearish territory. What does that mean? Well, we could be returning down to the 1100 exponential moving average, $1.44. The 4-hour 11 exponential moving average, which is here, that's $2.10. That's also a bad sign here, because as we can see, that's where a most recent bottom happened. So if we do lose momentum, price could really return to these levels. But as we can see right now, it has bounced exactly off of our 1100 exponential moving average on the 1-hour charts. So we're hoping that this bounces from here, starts to turn bullish, just maintains above this level. We don't want to see a drop, because when we take a look at Bitcoin, it has just tapped off of its 10-minute 1100 exponential moving average. And you can see it's holding very similar pattern to what the 1-hour looks like on XRP. If we lose this, then we go to 15-minute, Bitcoin could be coming back to 106. If we lose that, we could be going to 105. We lose that to the 30-minute one. That's when we're starting to get serious, $102,000. Now, similar to XRP, this is where that double dip right here, or that most recent bottom level happened. In fact, let's go ahead and switch over to Heikin-Oshi's. And we're going to mark off some levels on Bitcoin of downside potentials. Okay, so we'll go here, that one. And we'll go here, that one. So what I do is I look for, as price bottoms, the last red candle before the green up move. As price came down, bottoms, the last red candle before the green up move. As price comes down, and boom, right here, Bitcoin price bottoms. And you can see it's actually held there. There's potential of it coming back to that level again. And of course, that level is 106,446. And does that correspond with one of our, yes, so that does also, it corresponds with our 15-minute 1100 exponential moving average. So keep track of that for Bitcoin. Now, interestingly enough, one of our altcoins that we did call inside of Altcoin Pro was Labubu. And we called it in the very beginning when it absolutely moonshot right here. People made great money, took great profits, and then it went into dormant mode for quite some time. Now, lately, it has become one of the most popular cryptos all over crypto Twitter. And as you can see right now, prices are starting to accumulate here, which is nice. We haven't broken down, so price came down, dipped into this supply and demand level, which was from the previous highs, as you can see right here. And right now it's holding support. So if we go back to traditional candles, we're making a move to the upside here on the 4 hours. It does need to break above this level here, which is the 2 cents, 0.024 to 0.027 levels. So if we can see this get into like 0.0275, it could then do a next level breakout. So as you can see right here, the shaft cycle reset here on the 4 hours to 0, and then it made its massive push to the upside. It has just finished resetting to 0. So keep an eye on Labubu over the next 3 to 5 days to see how high can this thing break out to the upside.